Welcome to the Roll Up Network College Football Preview Show. I am your host, Uncle Silk, and I'm kicking with two legends, Ahmmon Richards, Kenny Shaw. What it do, fellas?
Doing good, man. Grinding.
Grinding?
That's it.
Every day.
Y'all boys fresh on the bye week this week, man. It's all Florida, all eyes on Florida, Kentucky this week. We got a special show. We got two guests coming on to kick it with us. A guest from Aaron Gershon from Paul's 247 is going to kick it with us and talk some Kentucky matchup. And then we have Will coming from ACC Nation, and we'll talk some ACC League talk, where we at with it entirely. I got Duke as big dogs, but we're going to see what my man Will got to say about that. But we on the bye week for y'all boys, man. How y'all going to spend this bye week?
I'm gonna go get an early round of golf in, then go see y'all get spanked.
Well, how early is this golf round? Because we play at noon, bro.
I'm start at 8.
Okay.
I'm only gonna do a 9-holer.
Oh, you going to cut it short for us, huh?
And cut it short. But hey, on the real, I'm just taking a kid. He in a foster care system just to introduce him to golf. I think we need more minorities in this game. So I wish somebody would took me back in the day just to hit them sticks. So we finna get a good little early round and catch a game.
Is that a part of your Raw Academy?
Man, it's something new that I'm implementing. It's an idea that as I've been golfing and becoming addicted, it's like I see a lot of these kids say NFL, NBA, and with our athleticism, shoot, we'll tear that game up.
Oh
Golf.
no, for sure.
Not the
It,
gritty
it's
of
an
the
it,
course.
it's an expensive game though. Like it ain't hard. I mean, it ain't easy to just go get into golf and get real good at golf. You need some type of cash flow
Yeah.
of some sort, right?
Yeah, you need some cash flow, but you look at these little league teams. Shoot, they traveling, having road games, hotel
Right, right.
fees, so everything is expensive. So you pick a poison.
Yeah, no excuse these days, I guess.
Yeah,
Hey, y'all, what you got on the calendar, man?
Man, live story. Not playing.
That sounds about Miami, bruh.
Facts. I hope the boys don't go out like that. We on a good vibe right now, so I hope we stay that way. But now I'm chilling. Um, what I'm thinking. Yeah, man, just kicking it. Honestly, man, it feels good when you're undefeated. Through the first like what 4 weeks.
Bye?
With a
Huh?
bye, getting ready to go into ACC play. I mean, I like where we're sitting, but I'm gonna keep it light, stay off my feet. Don't got to worry about too much. Just watch these games get played. We're gonna see what Florida do this week. But I'm curious. I'm really excited to see this USC game in Colorado and see how they
That's
bounce
the
back
yeah. That
from
I
from.
mean, that was probably the big game on the calendar, and then we have Notre Dame Duke on the slate as
Mhm.
well that I'm interested in seeing this week. But
Yeah.
you,
yeah.
you think Prime gonna be able to bounce back, bro? He just got smashed. How y'all think he bounced back?
So,
I think if he do bounce back, it can't be no blowout. You know
mm,
what I
Right, right,
mean?
right,
Like,
right.
so I don't know.
I would say it's possible, but just they're so undersized up front and on the D line that when they go up against the top dogs in that division, like that's when you really see it. Like I didn't realize how smart they were. I just seen Oregon just do whatever they wanted all game long for 4 quarters straight. That's when I'm like, oh nah, like they not there yet in them trenches. They're not there yet, and that's really the difference. Um, you got some guys out wide that can maybe compete, but up front they don't got a shot. So USC might run away with this, but part of me, the athlete in me, want to pull for
USC ain't got
Dion.
no defense.
They don't got no defense, and they don't got no O line to even run the ball. So it's like Shador gonna have a long day back there, But
No,
then
he said
again,
USC don't have a defense, is what
yeah,
Kenny's saying.
oh, you saying USC don't have a?
Mm-mm.
They might not have a defense, but Colorado is just so undersized that it's like they gonna look good on defense this game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see that. It's a lot of film out there on Colorado now as well. So the way they attack people in the early games kind of caught people by surprise. People have no idea. I mean, you can watch that offensive coordinator's previous stops, but it's hard to get a feel of what that team going to be until it got on the field. And that team was definitely better than we all thought it was going to be coming out the gate. So it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see also how Marcus Freeman bounced back after the loss last week. I thought he should have won that Notre Dame Ohio State game.
man.
Big matchup with do this. What do you thought about that game right there? We're gonna get into some big three talk. Before we get Kenny's take, smash that like button. Y'all go and retweet our tweet on Twitter. Let everybody know we talking that big three talk. We usually like to go on Wednesday. We had emergency yesterday. I know we competing with Thursday night football in the NFL, but put the roll up on your phone and watch the game on the tube. We kicking it a little bit. What you thought about that Notre Dame Ohio State game?
No, I think Notre Dame looked tough. Like obviously it was a good matchup. It was unfortunate to see Harrison go down, but the uh, the the management at the end of the game is so pivotal, and I don't think folks realize like games really do come down to 3-4 plays. And I
Hmm.
know Dabble kind of mentioned they season is 3 to 4 plays away from being 3-0, 4-0, and it sounds like a excuse, but it's really that's the real deal thing. Like Notre Dame had that game, and nobody can take that thought away from them. But the thing is, those you can't stop playing until them clocks hit zero, and Ohio State just showed more grit at the end.
Yeah.
But I think that the world kind of see that this year is wide open.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, Kenny. Because to your point, like Notre Dame looked a little different to me this year for whatever reason. Like I didn't think they was gonna be able to compete the way they did to the end. Unfortunately, to me, coaching played a factor in that. And them really ultimately losing. You know, having a DN or D tackle missing on the goal line is insane work. Like when you really think about that, and that's exactly where Ohio State ran the ball. So I'd like Notre Dame. This year they're pretty solid. I think Ohio State's pretty solid too. But to your point, a couple plays, just swung that game. That what the safety for Notre Dame had a drop interception that put the game away through his
Yeah.
hand. Next thing you know, they convert on 3rd and 19. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's 1 or 2 plays right there that completely switched the game. And next thing you know, Ohio State got the ball with a little bit of life, left, and they put them away.
While we wait for my man Aaron Gershon to come over from Cats 247, he's gonna pull up here in a second. What do you got for that matchup? I want to see if Duke beat Notre Dame, then they for sure with it. You feel me? That's how I'm seeing this game. So like, what's you guys' score prediction for Notre Dame Duke? How y'all see it playing out?
That's a tough one because I don't really have.
But no,
Both of these teams are like shocking people this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Duke running a show like this, and Notre Dame, like they always been in the contingencies, but not playing this tough. You know what I mean? Like Notre Dame look good. Like
yeah.
they look like they deserve to be in that top 5. But I don't know if Duke come out there and do something. Then as a Seminole, like I say, I'm circling that on the calendar. Like, hey, we can't start slow with them boys.
So I'm gonna take Duke on the win for 2 reasons. One being that I need that win. So when we beat them, smack them upside their head, it means a little more, rankings and stuff. For two, um, Notre Dame just always tend to fold in the biggest moments, no matter who is on the field, who's on their team, who's their coach. It just feels like every time the lights get bright enough, they always come crumbling. So I'm going to take um, Duke. I'm thinking it's going to be, I'm going to say 27-24. I think Duke pulls it off in the end. I think it's going to be a close game. I think both teams kind of have similar play styles on both sides of the ball. But ultimately, I just don't trust Notre Dame. The what they say, the luck of the Irish or whatever it is, that
Yeah.
runs out. At some point mid season. Every year. So
Yeah. No, I think
Duke,
they mad. I think they mad. So I think they're gonna come in and beat these boys, but it's gonna only be by 10. So I don't know what the score is, but I think Notre Dame win by a 10-point spread.
I like Notre Dame. I want Notre Dame to be good, and I want Morrison to win this game. But like, I'm interested in what Duke looked like versus them. I thought Duke was very dominant versus Clemson, and that shit caught me off guard a little bit. So I'm gonna go with Duke winning. I'm gonna go 31-34. Duke. I think it plays out like that.
there we go. I like that. I like that take right there.
Real quick, before we get my man Aaron on from Paul's 247, make sure you guys visit AlanHorneInsurance.com or give them a call at 706-692-2888 if you're in the states of Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama in need of, also just call for a free quote. But if you're in need of insurance, man, don't be out here riding dirty and getting that SR22. Put up on my man Alan. Get that insurance if you're in the states of Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama. State Farm provider and also a big 3 former athlete, now businessman, former Gator pitcher, Yankee pitcher, et cetera, et cetera.
Alan Horne. I know that name so much. I might call him myself.
You might as well. You might as well. We're kicking it with Aaron Gershon. Am I saying your last name right?
Oh, you nailed it, man. It's usually
Gershon?
people get it wrong. You got it.
That's why it took me a little while to say your name here a little bit. I was like, let me make sure I got this right, man. Aaron
You're
Gershon.
good.
Gershon from the Cats Paws 247, a Kentucky website. How you doing, my guy?
Good. Thanks for having me back this year.
Man, pleasure's definitely all ours. Hopefully, we get some different circumstances this year. Last year you guys pulled out with the W. What's your feel on this Kentucky team? You have Devin Leary, the
Yep.
transfer, who both programs, I think both our programs are interested in both of the quarterbacks that we got out
That's
of the
right.
portal. Right, that's something we have in common. But what is your feel on this offense, first of all, for Kentucky?
Yeah, it's different than you think of Kentucky in recent years, and it's ground and pound with a really good offensive line, and Benny Snell and Chris Rodriguez in the backfield. And this year, they're spreading the ball around and they're explosive. I mean, Devin Leary's average depth per target is over 11 yards, so they're throwing it down the field. But that's why you see the completion percentage below 60, just below 60, and the interceptions high because they are taking some risks. But I do question if that is because the teams they've played so far. They obviously have not played a good schedule. They've played Akron, Ball State, EKU, and then just beat up on Vanderbilt. But they have the ability in the run game to be explosive too. They're averaging 5.5 yards per carry, but that number's a little skewed because they have nine runs of over 20 yards. So if you take those out, I think the average is like 3 yards per carry. So they've kind of been a little bit of all or nothing on offense. But I think Leary, when he hits guys, he can make every throw, and he does a really good job of evading pressure. I mean, the offensive line is better than a year ago, but the fact that I think they've ended up the least sacks in the SEC at 4. That's a lot of Devin Leary making things happen on his feet. So it hasn't been. He hasn't been the guy from NC State in 21, but also, he had the injury last year. He was out 11 months. He's getting back in the rhythm a little bit. So overall, Leary's been solid, and the offense is definitely better with Liam Cohen back than it was. It was a disaster last year. I mean, a disaster. They beat Florida last year, but it wasn't because of the offense. It was because of the defense.
Yeah. My man Anthony Richardson made some mistakes last year that really cost us big time. But to me, the feel of this Kentucky team is a lot like the Tennessee team we face, right? A quarterback that can make every throw, but the accuracy is not there. The completion percentage is down. The run game is solid. I think you guys are a lot similar. What do you contribute the early struggles to? The EKU game, I watched that one, and it came down to like you guys didn't score until almost like the second half. It was a big struggle.
Yeah, the last minute and a half. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but the last minute of the half they didn't score in that one, and it's been weird because they have moments, like I said, where they're so explosive and it's like, wow, this offense could be elite. And then there's like 20 minutes per game or a little less usually where it's like, what are they doing out there? And they just make terrible throws. And, Leary, the thing with that completion percentage too is, he's definitely had some missed throws. He's not off the hook, but I think the drop percentage has to be up there among SEC quarterbacks. They've had some trouble just hauling in some passes, and like, last week, man, the turf I think you guys are home for Vandy, which is a good thing because the turf at Vanderbilt, guys, both sides are slipping and sliding all game. Like 2 plays in a row, Devin Leary slips over, just falls. It's like, what happened? And then he has a tight end fall on a perfect pass in the middle of the field. So some weird things last week in the passing game. But yeah, I think this team is really good defensively with Kentucky. I think that's what makes them stand out a little bit, and they've been able to overcome the offense kind of just figuring things out a little bit because this defense, they're always under Mark Stoops. They're always going to be solid defensively, but what they're doing differently this year is they're creating turnovers. They have 8 turnovers, which is tops in the SEC. I think they finished last in turnovers or near that last season in the conference. And then on the pass rush front, they have 11 sacks, which is up there and toward the SEC lead. That was something they struggled with last year. So, I think this defense is even better than it was a year ago, and they finished 12th in the country, I think, in total defense last year.
I do like your defensive tackle, Deion Walker.
He's a mammoth. Child. Yeah, he's a big dude, and he can move now. And
he gonna bring pain.
I don't know, man. What was crazy with him? He's obviously an interior guy, but they were messing around against Akron, and they had him in a 3-point stance as a DN, and he just absolutely annihilated the offensive tackle. Now it was Akron, but he's a game wrecker. I mean, he does a lot of the dirty stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but yeah, he's a fun guy to watch. And the corners, man, Maxwell Harrison had 2 pick sixes a week ago. And, you could say it's Vanderbilt, but he made some pretty high IQ plays on the ball, really timed things up well. And Andrew Phillips on the other side is balling out too. So I've been the defense is it's a step ahead of what I thought it was going to be because they did lose their 2 starting corners from a year ago. But it's been solid so far. But this is obviously with the running backs and how efficient Graham Mertz has been, this is the best test they're going to face yet.
No, for sure. How do you feel about your receiver core? I thought those guys looked pretty good on the outside there. but there's still, like you said, the lack of intermediate stuff. I think you guys are a lot like Tennessee.
Yeah.
But what you guys could take the lid off. I like your slot wide receiver. His name is escaping me, but what do you feel about that wide receiver corps in this matchup? Because I think highly of my secondary.
Yeah, they got three very talented receivers. I mean, Tavion Robinson, I believe, is the guy you mentioned there in the slot. He started off at Virginia Tech. He has been, last year the coaching staff was not happy with him because he was kind of get upset about the way the offense was going. He put some things out on social media that never goes well, and he was kind of unofficially suspended the last regular season game. But they challenged him to mature off the field and bring it on, and he's been really solid. He's been the one guy where we're talking about drops. That hasn't been an issue for Tavion. Kind of when the offense is in a little bit of slump, Devin Leary has gone right to Tavion Robinson. And the thing with him, he's not a guy. I mean, he has speed, but he's a guy that they're using in the short game and the quick game, hitting on quick passes, and he makes things happen after the catch. Barryon Brown's the guy in the room who's going to take the top off. He's a great returner. That's why you never see him really get a chance to return kicks because he has 2 touchdowns in his 2-year career already. He made some really explosive plays last week at a 55-yard catch, had a 37-yard catch, but that's where the drops come in. He's missed a couple balls where Leary's put it right on him. More so in kind of the intermediate game, and you just got to haul those in, and maybe that has led to his numbers drop a little bit just because you have to build that trust with Leary. And then Dane Key, who obviously went up and made that catch in the end zone against Florida last year, he had his first game of his whole college career without a catch in week 3, and there was a lot of talk. Is he in that sophomore slump? And Mark Stoops even referenced it, kind of challenged him, and he catches a touchdown last week, has 4 grabs. So it's a talented receiver room. Outside of those 3 guys, like if there were an injury, it's a lot of unproven guys after that. But they have those 3 guys are as talented as it gets in this conference, but they haven't completely unlocked them yet. They're still working to.
What do you think Kentucky has to do to win this game? We have a noon game at Kentucky. Yeah. I think the crowd is not going to be as hostile as they were for those night games we got them in the last few years. But I expect the packed house. You guys hate us up there, so I expect a full stadium nonetheless. But I don't think it will be as hostile. But what do you think Kentucky have to do to win this matchup?
Yeah, it will. I'll tell you, it'll be more hostile than you think, just because Mark Stoops kind of put out a PSA saying, if I know anything about Kentucky, it's that people can get up early and pound some beers and bourbon, and it's going to be rowdy. The parking lots are opening an hour early, so I think it's going to be
need it.
I don't. You're right. The environment in Kroger Field 2 years ago, where
I'm gonna go talk to Stoops too. I'm gonna go get him hyped.
Yeah,
every time he calls somebody, they lose. Aaron, just so you know, he calls Jimbo.
Maybe for the people up here, don't call him then.
He calls Jimbo. He calls Joe Milton.
Just tell him I said what up, man.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. He's a great guy to cover. But no, he put out that little PSA, and then they're opening the parking lots early. I think it'll be a great atmosphere. You're right. And nothing beats under the lights in the SEC. But when Kentucky went to Ole Miss last year, and Ole Miss is not known for like incredible environments, the 11 a.m. environment they had was pretty awesome with 2 top 15 teams. So I'm trying to envision it to be something like that. But I think for Kentucky, the 2 keys are number 1, taking care of the football, because the 5 interceptions are a career high for Devin Leary, and we're only 4 weeks into the season. And I think, again, part of that is kind of just they're figuring out this offense, trying to unlock some things and maybe forcing the issue. So I think they'll be a little more careful this week. They obviously can run the ball with Ray Davis. So I look for that. That's the number 1 thing. I think that could be said for any game plan, though. I think really the big thing when you just look at this matchup is Kentucky, if you can get them in front, that's where I think Florida could be in a little bit of trouble, because Graham. I think I saw a stat that Graham Mertz in his career is 0-11 when he's had to throw 30 times in a game. So if you're putting Florida behind the 8 ball, you take a 10-point lead, and you're forcing Graham Mertz to throw a bunch with the way Kentucky's secondary is playing. That's where I think, and you let the crowd, obviously, then the crowd's really going to get into it. It doesn't matter what time it is. If you're up big on Florida and you have a chance to kind of see blood in the water there. So I think starting fast, which is something Kentucky did last week. Again, the opponent, it's Vanderbilt. You take it a little bit with a grain of salt, but man, I mean, if they start fast, I think that's where Kentucky can be dangerous in this game, because they have the dogs to keep on stacking up on putting points on the board. I mean, they did score. I know they scored 2 defensive touchdowns, but they scored 45 last week, and it easily could have been more if it weren't for some of those, fluky. I'm not a big fluky guy, but when you're just slipping on the turf out of nowhere, there's some flukiness to it.
Yeah, that's why I like this matchup, because you guys start slow.
The first 2 games they did, yeah.
Right. I mean, defensively, you got jumped out with Vanderbilt to some pick sixes, and then you got some points.
They did score 2 offensive touchdowns. They scored in their first offensive drive. Yeah, last week was the first time where it was like, okay, they put the pedal to the metal.
Right. So I do like that. We'll see how it all shakes out, but I think this is going to be your best defensive test. Armstrong is definitely going to send a lot of pressure, and Devin Leary does respond well when you do blitz him. But I think it's going to come down to both teams, and the Graham Mertz thing you said, I do like that stat, but I think he's a different quarterback than he was at Wisconsin.
He looks different, for sure.
Correct. If I had, like, looking at the turnovers from Leary, he has 5. My guy has 1, which shouldn't have been, which really is not on him.
Went
so he's
through
been super
Pearsall's
careful.
hands, right? Yeah.
Right. So he's been super careful with the ball. I like him to keep that trend going. Offensive line is going to be very key to us protecting him. I think with my offensive line being fully back and healthy, we are in the same team without our fully starting offensive line. We got everybody back, no suspensions. Kingsley Ugakun is back. That's our center.
Yep.
He's kind of the quarterback of that offensive line. Everything runs through him, and when he's not in, it just don't run smooth. But I think if we come in the building, and we could jump out to a 2-possession game like we did Tennessee, I think we have our front offensive line back, and we could just drain this thing. I think that's Billy's plan, is to jump out, let this defense create some chaos, try to affect Leary, and I think we can shut down the run as well. I think the same thing. We make Leary have to drop back with our defensive line. He has to win with his arm. I think we can win the game. You have your big guy, Deion Walker. We have a big guy, Cam Jackson, who I think is phenomenal at front. My whole front 7 I like, but Cam Jackson is definitely the leader. That's how I think it plays out. Regardless, I think it's a 1-possession game.
Low
when it's
scoring.
all said and done. low scoring. Yeah. What you got it at point wise?
I have it at, I think, 37 combined, around there. Yeah, I think I've had 20 to 13. I could see it going either way. I've had last year I picked Florida in this game. The reason I'm picking Kentucky this year is just because of I don't know what it is. There's something in the air this week at practice. The last time I had this feeling, like when going into a Kentucky game, was the first time the Florida win in 2018. There's just a lot of focus. There's a lot of guys that are saying, they're not talking about what happened the last 2 years. They couldn't care less. This team just know. The thing for Kentucky is they go to Athens next week. So they know if they lose this game, they're probably going to lose next week. You're 4-2. Things could get off the rails quick because the rest, their schedule's good the rest of the way. And I just think they know what's kind of in front of them. This is kind of the tone-setting game for their season. And I've been pretty impressed with the focus, and I just think they match up pretty well. Like you said, both front set, it's so similar because Florida has a great rotation up front, and Kentucky does too now. They rotate 6 different guys on that D-line, and there's not really a drop-off. And then the inside linebackers, Trevin Wallace. And Trevin Wallace, I don't know if he still is. He's an inside backer who was leading the SEC with 4 sacks going into last week. So I just feel I think this defense at home is why I'm picking Kentucky. Would I be surprised if it goes the other way? Absolutely not. But I will say I'd be stunned if we see a blowout in either direction. I just don't think either of these teams at this point in the year are built for that.
The only way I could see it being a blowout if it's just like it turns into like
turnovers,
a turnover heavy game, right?
Yes.
And I do think there could be some like game shock for you guys competition wise, at least early on.
I think so too. And that's a concern.
We played Utah and Tennessee, so the competition level, we're kind of primed and tuned and ready to play some football. And you guys have had the second easiest schedule so far in Power 5, right?
Absolutely.
So I think there could be some shock in the beginning of that game. Kenny and Amon, how y'all see, what y'all got on y'all mind about this game?
I like Kentucky.
Of course you do.
I'm a Stoops guy. Like AG said, I feel it in the air. I feel it for real. That's why I'm getting the early golf round. And I told you, I'm going to get this early golf round and see them kick y'all ass.
You're gonna wish you could play the whole 18 after we run down. You gonna wish.
No, but I only see a 10-point lead. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
think about a 2-possession. Either way, I think both teams are going to be in the hole if it goes up 2 possessions, right? I know we don't have the
Absolutely.
pace and the offense to. We possibly could, but it's not ideal for the way our offense is
Yeah.
functioning right now.
Yeah, and I think Kentucky has the players too, but they haven't been in that situation. So for it to happen, the first time all year, usually you see if a team comes back, it's not usually the first time of the year they're behind the 8 ball. And 7-0 is their own. I think they've trailed 7-0 and 7-3. That's all they've trailed all year so far.
Is this both of you guys' first 12 o'clock game?
No, this is Kentucky's. They played 11 a.m. last week, and they played 12 o'clock week 1. So they've played noon.
Yeah, this is our first noon.
Oh yeah, they got the upper. They definitely got the upper hand.
With that news, yeah, Kentucky might.
They got that upper hand.
I take. We prefer noon.
Look, I'm just saying.
I think on the road you prefer a noon for atmosphere.
Prefer a noon on the road, right, for sure.
But
for sure.
There is something about that with the fact they've been tested. I don't put too much stock into game times, but it is.
You got to.
You guys would know better, man. I haven't played the game, but yeah, that is something. That's interesting.
Now on the road, you want to get them in and out of there as quick as you can. Hopefully they ain't up early drinking the bourbon and kicking it at the tailgates, Just saying, hopefully the student body has a wild Friday night and they hungover. They get out of bed slow.
They're going to cut on that Morgan.
At 7 o'clock,
Wally.
At 7 o'clock, there's no shot at it, man. It's time to, it's a little hair of the dog. You bounce back, recover, drink you some ginger ale, and you get right back out in them streets. Get loud for the and rockets for that 7 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, this is their first. I'm sorry to cut you off again. This is their biggest. I'm trying to think of the last big noon game they've had at home, because most of the big noon games they've had have been in enemy territory. Like I said, with Ole Miss last year. So yeah, it's different from that aspect from the fans. The fans haven't been challenged like this in a while for noon, because obviously they played Florida on the road almost every year for I don't know how long. Georgia's been a 3:30 kick the last couple of times here, and then LSU after they beat Florida in 2021, they absolutely destroyed LSU the next week, and that was under the lights too. So it's going to be different. It's something this is my 6th year doing this. It's something I haven't experienced, a big game at noon like this.
Hey, y'all, where you at with it, man?
I think Kentucky get the dub, man. I think Kentucky just got a better quarterback. I think Kentucky
better quarterback.
Yeah,
nah. No way.
Mertz, he all right, man. He's solid, but I'm rocking with Kentucky, man. I think they're gonna throw that thing around a little bit, get your defense, a little rattle early on the road. Guys might be sleeping back there like Utah a little bit, but
I think Leary's like next to last in completion percentage in the SEC.
Yeah, and that part of that again, and part of that is the average depth per target. But you're right. Yeah, he has had issues, and the one thing with Graham, the interesting angle in this game, Graham Mertz was coming here, man. Like the papers were signed.
Nice.
And Devin Leary, and then Liam Cohen kind of came in and was like, we prefer Leary. So there is that factor where maybe he has got a fire under him that, he comes out firing. So just being objective, that's my job. But it is good. I just think it's going to be low scoring. I just don't. I think these defenses are both top tier in the SEC, and that's going to make for a little bit of an old-fashioned ball game in Lexington.
I mean, it could be low scoring. I get why a lot of people have that take, right? Because both defenses are really good, but
yeah,
I think we got some unknowns. I think to a certain degree, I don't think Kentucky fully was like holding back, but they've been holding back some of their offense. I don't think they had to go into to their bag a little bit. So I expect to see some offense. We got Trey Wilson back, my very explosive freshman. I expect a big game from him, a lot of targets from him. I think he's going to be able to loosen up the middle of the field for my offense to be able to run the ball with ETN. I expect him to get around 22 carries like he did. Yeah. Man, his feet are just crazy to me. Right?
He looks like his brother. He does. Right. He looks like his brother.
He's so good, man. I'm glad we kept him fresh last week, and I know some fans were mad.
Yeah, I thought that was smart too.
Yeah, get him ready for SEC. But how you feel about your offensive line? I was with my defensive line.
Yeah.
A few of them cats this week shooting some content, bro, and they feel really good about this matchup, man. I don't know what they're seeing on tape, but they feeling bullish.
I think the thing they're seeing on tape, the one thing that the offensive line has struggled a little bit this year is movement, and the stunts have hurt them a little bit. They're better in pass pro than they've been in the run blocking, to be honest with you. They've done a pretty good job at keeping Leary clean. I mean, the 4 sacks, again, you could attribute that partly to Leary's escapability, but then also the pass pro playing well. But the kind of the wild card for this offensive line is Kenneth Horsey, who was an all SEC guy a couple of years ago. Last year, they had to play him out of position because of all the injuries and just poor play they had. He's been out since week 1. There's some optimism he's going to play on Saturday, which would be huge to get a 6th-year guy from Florida that's played in this game a couple times and done really well. So they could get him back at left guard, and that would give them their starting 5 that they kind of, well, I wouldn't say they envisioned, because they actually also made another move, which is something, too, that Florida probably saw, is that center Jagger Burton started the year. He could not snap the ball against Akron. They moved him to guard. Eli Cox, who played center last year, moved him back to center, and he was great this past weekend. So they're really good at tackle. That's one thing that's been impressive. The tackles have both been solid. It's been the interior where they've been a little subjectable. So we'll see what happens. If Kenneth Horsey plays, you got to feel a lot better about the offensive line. It's not last year's offensive line where they're giving up 47 sacks, but it's also not the 2021 offensive line when you had 3 NFL draft picks on it.
Yeah, let me get my score in on how I think it plays out. And we about to get my man Will on from ACC Nation to talk some ACC ball. Y'all smash that like button, comment, beef in the comments, all of that. All the likes help us climb the algorithms, man. Help us build the show and whatnot, man. We appreciate that. But I got the score. Let me go 31-24. Gators.
That'd be more points than I see. I could see that happening, but the points, so there you go. I like it. I want offense. A lot of points.
I don't like to give up that many. I don't like to give up that many points from my defense. One thing about one thing I do know, Austin Armstrong is definitely going to send a lot of pressure. So, and you guys like to go for the big shot. So we are susceptible to big plays because we're going to dial it up a little bit. And we're going to put our defensive backs in some compromising situations. So it's going to be opportunity there to score points. And I do think both offenses could get busy a little bit. They got some explosive players. Ours are a little different. We don't go vertical, and our offense is totally different, right? Like intermediate passes, we're going to knock those down all day. We're going to move the sticks. We can run the ball well. You guys are trying to get the more explosive long plays, and we're not. Sure. So we got 2 totally different game plans here, but I think both teams got some stuff in their bag, and I think this game's high scoring than most people think. I hope you guys can score because I think we're gonna go get some points. You know what I'm saying?
I love offense. Last year we were deprived of it up here with how bad the offense was. So I'd love to cover some high scoring games. It's been a while.
How's your kicker? Before I get you out of here,
yeah, he's been good. He hasn't missed yet this season.
Okay.
Yeah,
right. My new kicker.
I know he was awesome. This new kicker was awesome. As long as they get 11 guys on the field, they'll be fine.
Don't jinx him.
He's got to get 11 guys on the field, right? That's been the issue.
Hopefully we can count this week. We'll see.
Yeah, but no, special teams was bad last year. It's a lot better this year. So at least they got that going for them.
Yeah. All right, tell the people where they can find you at, Aaron.
Yeah, Gershon99 at Twitter, and then our online affiliate with 247 Sports. So that is thecatspaws.com.
All right, man. We appreciate you for hanging out with us another year, man. Until next time.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you guys so much for having me back. Appreciate it.
Alrighty. Now we kicking it. We got a special guest to come talk some ACC ball with us. Will, how do you pronounce your last name, Will? I'm not the greatest with pronouncing name.
Ojanen.
Ojanen?
Ojanen.
Will Ojanen from ACC Nation. Kicking it with us to talk some Florida State, Miami, Duke, etc. Like I think Duke is big dog in ACC right now. Let me get that started. Let me get that out.
Will, don't jump into the hype. You're instigator.
Yeah, it's okay. I think let's be real. Duke is good. Are they the top dog? No, I'm not ready to go there just yet. Yeah, I'll do the chopping to you with you because I think they're at least, if not on their level, if not better. But I think what Mike Elko has done with that program is nothing short of amazing. We've seen throughout, especially most of our lifetime, they've just been the dregs of really power conference football for most of my life. I'm in my early 40s, and most of my time they've been bad. Barely winning football games. he took what David Cutcliffe left him and he turned it around in almost no time. And it helps that you have a really good quarterback in Riley Leonard. He's 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 not the best quarterback, but he's top 3, top 4. I think these guys have quarterbacks better. But yeah, I think, and not to mention, he's a great. What's turned out, he's a great schemer. I think what he did against Clemson,
Yeah,
just he coached circles around Dabo that night.
that ain't hard to do these days.
Yeah, well,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, Dabo's Dabo. I mean, we're gonna make fun of him, and until he changes his ways, I think we're gonna have serious discussions about Clemson and their standing in among the elite of college football.
Well, what do you think about the league so far? I'm getting into some. I'm gonna put these guys against each other a little bit and get some, some Miami, Florida State takes. But what do you think about the league as a whole? You got Clemson, who's definitely not a powerhouse in the league like they were for so long. They were top dogs. And it was just their league, and everybody else just kicking it around. Now it's a little wide open. You don't know if Duke could potentially win it. Miami is showing some resurgence with Mario Cristobal, and then Florida State got playoff hopes. So, like, how do you think and view the whole league right now?
Definitely stronger than it's been in recent years. I mean, yeah, the Virginia schools are pretty brutal. Boston College is pretty brutal, but most weeks these games are going to be toss-ups for the most part. I mean, we talked, these two guys, Miami, Florida. Miami's better than I expected. I wasn't sure how they would respond to the new coaching change, or at least the new staff changes. Shannon Dawson has really re-energized that offense. And we had Manny Navarro on our podcast for the season, and that was one of the big questions I had is, Cristobal loves, the ground and pound. Well, Dawson's more of an air raid guy. How is this marriage going to work? I think it's worked great because Van Dyke looks like himself from 2 years ago. They are running the ball really well. I mean, that Temple game, for example, even though Van Dyke, had a great game, they ran the ball they way more than you would expect. So I think that's working out really well. Obviously, Florida State's been Florida State. Awesome win over LSU week 1. We talked about Duke. I think they have a real shot of beating Notre Dame this week. Teams like Louisville have been as expected. Yeah, their schedule is easy. But I still think they're going to be really, really good. I think they can still win 8 games. Teams like Clemson, I think they're still good. I still think the talent's there. That's the thing. They should win a lot more this year. They could easily lose to Syracuse this week. I think they'll win, but you can see how they can because Syracuse runs the ball really well. They got a pretty good defense still. Just like even the middle of the league is better. Carolina's still really good. Drake May still looks like he's going to be a top 5 pick in April. BC isn't good. Pitt has been down. That's been a kind of a mystery, but I think there's a separation between like a few schools and in that middle tier where these guys could easily get 6, 7, 8 wins this year. I really like the strength of this league this year.
There we go. I like that. Right.
Hey, Will, you like us versus SEC?
Not against like Georgia per se, but I think
as a whole,
I think we're pretty comparable this year. I mean, I would still take
your quarterback
Georgia.
play is just better this year. That's my take. The quarterback play in the SEC is down, and you guys have Travis Jordan, you have Tyler Van Dyke, you have Drake May. Like the quarterback play is up, so and the quarterback play in the SEC is definitely a lot of turnover and down this year.
Oh, 100%. I mean, look at Alabama a couple of weeks ago in CUSF. They went through multiple quarterbacks and barely beat them. I don't know why they did that. I don't why Milroe didn't play that game, but we still haven't seen enough out of Georgia. to say what their quarterback back is an elite one.
Yeah, quarterback play. They
but how many
turnovers
you say?
well.
Exactly. I'll take Van Dyke. I'll take Travis. I'll take Leonard. I'll take May. I'll take. There's at least 4 or 5 quarterbacks I'll take.
I'll take Boston College quarterback.
Now, of course you will.
I mean, Will, you're talking about
Will,
Castellanos?
Yeah, Will, I was telling these boys how tough it is to play in Boston, and they don't realize because they don't
enable
really
him.
They don't really play them. But I think Miami gonna see November how tough it is up there.
Dude, we're gonna let it beat them people by 30 points, man.
Not 30.
Yes, we are.
I mean, Boston College. That's just a weird team this year. I thought they were going to be good, but they can't. They haven't been able to get out of their own way at any point this year. They just keep commit. They commit at least 10 penalties every game, and then they just got it handed to them by Louisville last week. I actually wonder if Hafley is going to survive the season. To be honest with you,
Louisville ran down on the boys. What was the score, Will?
What was it, like 56-28, and it wasn't even that close? I think if I heard right,
was it in Boston?
I think it was in Louisville.
Oh, okay.
But I know Louisville scored in the first 7 possessions that game.
Be in Boston soon. Look, I'm telling you.
Actually, I'm going on vacation to Boston here in about a month, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Going on vacation to Boston? Why would you do that? Like, it's got to be work to go to Boston. Why are you going to Boston for vacation? What's up?
I love history. I grew up in Virginia, and and obviously I've been around it, and it's one of my things. I just love traveling to see history. I mean, if Boston didn't have history, I probably wouldn't go. But
I like that.
So that's why.
Okay. All right, let's put these guys against each other. How do you see this matchup right now? How does Florida State and Miami match up versus each other?
Let's see. Who do I want to
talking about right now? We talking about right now or when we play?
From what we've seen so far, we'll beat
the shit out of them right now. They haven't played anybody,
so
they haven't been tested. Let's be real. They played Temple, Bethune-Cookman,
and who else?
A bad A&M team. Y'all don't have no grit. Y'all don't even got grit in y'all blood right now.
This. A&M beats Bama. Alabama play Texas A&M this year?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
A&M wins.
Oh, every year.
By 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they might beat them. Bama's not a good football team this year.
That's what I'm saying.
A&M might win their division. Like, I'm just saying.
I don't know about
I'm not sure that says much about the SEC, though. But
yeah.
But it says that our win is more valuable than what a Florida State guy's trying to downplay,
No, I think every week when we survive our wins, y'all discredit how tough it is to play on a away game and what we've been put up against. We in Death Valley, 12 o'clock. First 12 o'clock game, second 12 o'clock game after Boston College. 2 trap games in a row.
Would you have rather a night game in Death Valley or a nooner?
No, I would have rather the noon, but it's the Boston College one that out. 2 back-to-back. That's trap games.
Yeah.
Then you got an LSU game. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just going back for a second, we don't know. Like I said, there's a non-zero chance that Texas A&M is a dumpster fire, and Jimbo Fisher's out of a job in a couple of years. But still, the way Van Dyke played in that game, I think says a lot about what Miami can do as an offense.
There we go, man. Like, see, I like this guy.
I like him too. So, Will, Van Dyke versus this Florida State defense that's been struggling, that secondary has been struggling. Like, how do you like that matchup?
Oh, I mean, with all due respect, I do like Van Dyke in that matchup. I thought Cypress coming over from Virginia would be better. I mean, he's been solid, but I expected more out of him. But I know it's all about the pass rush too. I feel like FSU's pass rush has been pretty solid, but. Yeah, I think as a whole, FSU's defense hasn't been quite to what I expected. But we got to be fair. We still need to see Miami play somebody, in a maybe a little more on their level. But I think if they played right now in a neutral field, it'd be a real close game. But I mean, if we played it right this second, it'd be a little more challenging because Jordan Travis is still banged up. I want to see him healthy.
You'll still win.
We'll still win.
That is different.
With Tate Rodemaker, we'll still win.
They're different. Tate, no disrespect.
Rodemaker.
No
What
disrespect. Defense.
Will, what do you see as a potential weak spot on that Miami team?
Uh, I still wonder about the defense a little bit, especially I know the D line's really good still. I mean, even with that A&M game, they're just not allowing much on the ground this year. Yeah, and yes,
They already
we
carried.
can be fair. The matchups haven't been there, but I still think they have a really good run defense. I still want to see them against a pretty good passing team. They really haven't faced that yet this year.
We're gonna run down on that stuff up there in Tally. That's all.
I will say this: there's no chance that the fans are going to be leaving in the second quarter like last year.
Okay, I like that take because we were definitely not watching the game at halftime. I'll tell you that.
I just think it's a bunch of
Same.
catfish.
No, you know what's gonna happen when you see guys, man? Our D line, right? They're gonna show up. We're gonna stop that run. We're gonna force Jordan to throw that thing downfield. We're gonna make plays, man. And your defense can't stop our offense. That's the difference.
I don't think y'all got a DB who can cover our receivers.
That's not true.
I mean,
I
Keon
like
Coleman's
Jaden
such a stud, though. I love that kid.
I like Jaden Davis,
Yeah,
man.
nice.
Jaden Davis with him.
You don't have two good.
How tall is Jaden Davis? I'm curious.
I think he's like what 5'10", something. He's short.
He
He on
in
the short
trouble.
end.
He in trouble.
But he plays
Jump ball
like,
city, man.
he's like
Keon
not
Coleman,
enough.
jump ball city, bro.
he's like he's 4 though.
Mhm.
Man.
All
like
I'm
he's
saying is
6'4"?
we escaped that Miami game because we just have more weapons than y'all. I'm not saying we just a whole light years away from y'all, but we have more weapons than you guys.
I don't believe it. I don't believe that. I think the Keon Coleman kid. I think he's a good player, but hey, he sometimes he go missing. That's all I'm gonna say.
And the thing is,
did.
He goes in
Boston's
and
tough
out.
to play in, though. You gotta remember that.
Yeah. I forgot the 3-star recruit from Louisville, Kentucky at their DB. I'm sorry that he had that boy in Alcatraz, but hey, what do you think we gonna do?
We haven't. What's scary about what our team is showing the world is we haven't even shown our real potential. We beat up. We had a tough schedule thus far, and even though people saying it ain't shit, we had a tough schedule thus far.
But Kenny, what if this is your ceiling though? What if you're expecting you guys to
we haven't even had a third guy emerge on that wide receiver core, and once that happens, y'all, it's a wrap. Because
the run game though, even with that, let's talk about that before we get. I don't want to hold Will too long, but the run game has definitely been a struggle out there.
Our old lineman been banged up. Like I'd never seen so many people going in and out of that treatment room. You know what I mean? It's little stuff that you notice when you're on the sidelines and just watching the game. Like damn, like they going back there like it's what I mean.
And I will say, I wonder, I know obviously Travis is banged up, and I really wonder how much, him not being much of a factor in the running game was because of that. Because I feel like if he was fully healthy, he would have been more of a factor, and I think that game wouldn't have gone to overtime. But I love the Jordan Travis story in general. To be honest with you, I mean, how many quarterbacks did they try to bring in to supplant him over the last couple of years? And the guy just developed, persevered.
5'6", bro. We never die. 5'6", never die, baby.
AR don't like him, so keep going.
What do you mean? Jordan, listen, I know Jordan. Like he's a good kid.
Hey, since Paul Warner, he been getting wins. So
I wear this on my chest with pride. You see what I'm saying? Like this right here means more.
That's good. No, seriously. This has been a point of contention. Something we've talked about on our podcast over the years is just watching this kid, and bringing in, the guy, what was the guy's name a couple of years ago that they brought in initially to start?
But then UCF, forget his
name.
UCF.
What was his name?
Milton.
Milton. Yep. Yeah. They brought him in. He wasn't very good, and then he was banged up. Travis took the job, and they were, and he, he deserved it. And he looked really good. Came in last year, led him to an amazing season. He's got him, top 10 again this year. I don't see why they can't stay top 10 as long as he's healthy.
All right, I don't want to keep you too long, Will. You got something for him before we get him out of here?
Go Knowles.
Go Canes, man. Tell them best team in ACC. Go ahead.
Hey, Will just said who running down on stuff.
Yeah,
Will, are you a fan? Are you a fan of one
legitimate-
particular team, or are you a fan of one particular team, or no?
So like I said, I'm from Virginia. I grew up watching UVA in the early '90s with Sean Moore, Herman Moore, Terry Kirby, on through like the Barbers, and
Yeah.
I still am a big Virginia fan, and yeah, we're having a rough season this year, and I kind of predicted that
Y'all
just
look ugly
because of
out there,
all
bro.
the turnovers, but. I know he's not going to be starting this week, but watching that freshman Calandria has been so much fun. Just that effort, I'm just going to try it and see what happens type of mentality. I think that's just going to be a lot of fun to watch. I just hope he stays the quarterback in the coming years, because I think they found something with him.
Will, let me get your Florida Kentucky take and score before you get out of here. Just curious.
I like the Gators just because I'm not necessarily sold
Let's
on
go,
Kentucky,
Will.
to be honest.
Let's go, baby. Will with the shits, man. Let's go, Will.
It's gonna be a close game, but I still like Florida. Like I said, I just don't think Kentucky has the pieces on offense this year, and I think Florida is better. Not good enough to take out the Knowles. I'm sorry to say, but
Hey, man, one week at a time. We'll have you back on a little later in the season. Will, for that type of take, but you 1 week at a time, baby.
Yeah, no worries, man.
All right, well, tell the people where they can find you at, man. We appreciate you for coming on and hang out with us, man. Get some of this ACC second. That might be the second best league right now.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Yeah, you can check out accnation.net. You can follow on Twitter at ACC Nation, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at WillsWorldMN.
Hey, Will, hold it down, man. Have a good weekend, my guy.
All right, later, guys. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, y'all smash that like button. This show is going to be shorter than normal because these guys got a bye week. So, we got 2 guests in, hang out a little bit.
Hey, does that make you nervous? Even
all
more
eyes on me?
With all eyes on you.
Boy.
Oh no, dog, ain't nothing, bro. We let the losers worry about being nervous. We finna run down on shit. We 3-1, about to be 4-1.
Them hands already clammy. Them hands clammy already. Look,
nah, that's Birdman. That's Birdman shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's that Birdman boss rub. Pause. You feel me? Nah, I don't feel no pressure. I cheer. So they should feel pressure, but I was around them dudes a couple of days ago, man. Just be real. They feel confident. My defensive line feel really good. They should. Athletes in general. Like, if you watch even Florida State terrible year with Taggart, they still would talk shit before every game. Like, bro, why are y'all confident? So athletes are naturally confident, but I feel good about the matchup, the style of the matchup. Like, style, it's like boxing. I think we match up very well with their capabilities, what they're good at. We got some scrimps at, so we'll see how it all play out. We're on the road. That's why I do want to see how my young team respond. We only got one senior on the 2 deep, and that's Ricky Pearsall. The rest of it is just like a lot of youth. We're a very young team. We've been inconsistent as a young team, so I want to see how we respond on the road. We had an ugly game last week. That should have woke some people up. We'll see how everything plays out, but I think they respond. As underdogs, I think Billy Napier is like 17-5 versus the spread type shit. The spread right now I think is 1, drop from 2.5 down to 1. Just for the bettors out there. I'm not telling y'all to up the bets.
Who they in favor of?
Kentucky at home. They're favored by 1 right now, or 2, depending on where you bet. Which I like. I think sometimes at home, gambling Twitter, all you lying fellas, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think they give you like 3.5 just for like home field advantage type shit.
I don't know.
You better go get them 18 holes, boy.
Look, I don't gamble like that, but when I do look at the spreads of the athlete, that should put a fire under your ass. Be like, hey,
they got us fucked up a little bit.
This one kind of weird because it's like, you got Florida on the road. What you, like you say, you want early off in the season to get those tests under your belts. That molds your team at the end of the day. But then you got a Kentucky team to be like, do they come off that confidence from last year? So I don't.
Yeah, I mean they talking some. They giving us bulletin board material.
But that game was bad though. Like AR was bad in it.
Terrible. He lost us that game last year.
Like I literally,
he won us some too. He won the Utah game. I thought. We made some defensive plays, but he made some explosive plays that really sparked the win for Utah. So, AR was a gift and a curse at some moments last year, man. That's what you get when you get a guy that raw as far as an athlete. Quarterback didn't play a lot in high school. He gets 1 year at the wheel because Dan Mullen kind of sat him behind Emory Jones. So that's the product you got, but. Yeah, I'm with you, dog. I think the SEC East is wide open. So if we win this game, we're in the driver's seat. That first game to Utah, while you want to win that, you want to win every game. It doesn't affect league play at all. And we've just talked about the way Georgia looks in the SEC. With Beck at quarterback, they're just not looking like big dog like they was last year. That's a very beatable program. So if we beat Kentucky after already beating Tennessee, we control our destiny. We could pull up to Georgia, we got South Carolina before Georgia, but you beat South Carolina, you pull up in Jacksonville 6-1, they had us at 5. We'll see where we at with it. But I think we win this Saturday, we're ahead of schedule.
AR, why you laugh? Why AR laughing? Why you laughing?
Because it was like something out the movies where he just went to go and like he was like you was visualizing it. I felt you so.
Yeah. You see me? I'm looking up in the air, bro.
Like, boy had dreams. Hey, that boy don't have some dreams.
If y'all end up in Atlanta, the lies you gonna tell on here,
bro. You have no idea if I end up in Atlanta because I'm going. And y'all had me at 5 wins. If I'm in the A. And I know the SEC West ain't about Nathaniel. Vegas had us at 5, and the Twitter streets had us at 5 all summer. They kept saying we're 5 win. What are y'all gonna do with Mertz? If we end up in Atlanta, and I know the SEC West is just not, anybody we play on that side is a capable win. You feel me? So I will feel crazy and be talking crazy. That's the last thing the streets need is me to be able to get them lies off in a down year. With that young team, imagine if this young ass team go to the SEC championship and we reload and just one pump of the shotgun back next year. Everybody, we may lose Umi at DN. I think Cam Jackson is gone, and you lose Ricky Pearsall, who's a senior, but everything else will be just, no more 6-year seniors in tally. Miami will be looking for a quarterback game 1 coming into the swamp. They bring Ja'Cory Brown out type shit.
I like Emory Williams, man. He next up, trust me.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
That's another problem. He's a problem. He's gonna be a problem.
But coming to that stadium, that loud ass swamp as a first start type shit, bro, you don't want that for that young boy, man. It'd be ugly for him. But you gotta do what he gotta do, huh?
Yeah, he gotta put on his big boy pants and go handle business, or else it's gonna be a long night for him on Twitter. Let me tell you.
All right, man, we're gonna wrap up this show. Y'all like it. Also, just a heads up on schedule wise, we got some more vlogs on the horizon. Yeah, so if you at these games, hit our DMs up. If you're a business and you looking to, for us to come through, I went through Dave's Freshly Used in a restaurant called Cantina on my vlog. If you want to partner with us, and us come through and check out your spot, business, tailgate, whatever it may be, hit us up in the DM. That way we can schedule. We got filmers, it's a whole film crew, so we want to be on time. Shooting things and moving smoothly. So if you have any interest in any of that, definitely hit our DMs up. Kenny's going to be at the Duke game, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. AR, I think you're doing it with the Clemson game, and then the Florida State-Miami game as well. I'm going to be doing Arkansas and then the Florida State-Florida game in Gainesville. That's our vlog schedule. So hit our DMs up. Let us know if you got a fire tailgate with the fireballs. Kenny's going to take the shots, like, on deck. If you got the shot board, all that.
Duke game, I'm gonna be in my little jet. So hey,
you can't take him through the crazy tailgates.
I don't know.
Host some shit.
They say the kid got to mold to your schedule. So fuck it. We gonna hang out.
Yeah, take the jet through them wild tailgates, man. But link up with us, man. We're gonna make it all the move. I'm definitely pulling up to Florida State, Miami. I'm going out to Tally for that one. I gotta hang out and check some vibes, man.
We own you, Kenny. Just know.
I'm anxious to know who Silk gonna pick for that game too.
Ooh, it's a lot of football to play. I want to see if Miami's scared.
Hey, I can't wait till that week. Hey,
it's a lot of football. I'm gonna pick. I want to be right, so I don't give a shit about like either one of you guys' program. But I want to see how Miami looks in ACC play. They got a little stretch of some decent competition, so we'll get to see what they look like, in league play. Y'all think ACC is one of the better leagues this year, so we'll see once Miami touch it. Pause. Y'all got any shout outs or anything like that? Anything y'all want to? Miami Hunks. Make sure y'all go check out Miami Hunks, College Hunks. What is it
Yeah,
called?
man, we got college chunks, man. We do move in
College
and
Hunks.
Google. Hey, this is the thing though. Anyone that use our services, just mention the name, Ahmmon Richards. We'll take care of you. We actually send out autographs, to select fans, that use our services. So you might get a signed picture in the mail. Might be some signed gloves. You never know. It depends on the service. So just hit us up.
Hmm. You get you a hunk in your living room, moving your furniture.
Yeah, bro. I might walk through your door, sign you back.
You gonna pick up the couch or no?
Nah, man. I might sleep on the couch now. Fine.
Kenny, you got any shout outs? You good?
Shout out to Knowles Nation. Shout out to Shaw's Raw Academy. Just trying to mentor these Jits, get them to the next level in life.
Very key. Super key, man. Very important stuff, man. I hope the kid has a great time golfing this weekend, man. That's one of the ones you need to get a line for that right there, bro. Pull up.
Lion coming. We gonna see though.
Yeah. Nah, that
Lion
sound
a
like
busy
one, man.
guy. He a busy guy, so I respect his time.
For sure, we getting some more videographers on the team, man. We can't scratch Lion thin too much, man.
Yeah.
Hey, also Sunday, y'all pull up. We have a recap show of all the games being played. It's just one game this week, man. So y'all just come and hang out. We'll put some, drink some bourbon, kick it. It'll just be the Florida win that we'll all talk about. Don't be shy just because we won. Florida State and Miami fans, y'all still pull up and kick it. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk some shit. I know y'all gonna pull up if we lose, but if we win,
We gonna
you know what I'm
Ooh,
saying?
hey,
whole timeline gonna be in here. Let me tell you.
Y'all already know. Y'all love to see me down. That's crazy. They love to see me down, bro. Hey, Lauren, we appreciate the love. Everybody that's kicking it in the chat, man. We appreciate all y'all. Lauren, I ain't got my glasses on. I'm
We got
tripping.
Jack. We
I'm
got
getting my Jamie shit on right
we
now.
got the Florida State op, Moore, whatever his name is. He a op. I see him in here hanging. Studio.
Stone
Brax.
Cold Drip. What up, my guy? Oh, we got Braxton in here chilling. Everybody that's kicking it, man. Spencer Jerky,
that boy
Anthony
Braxton
Beck.
nervous.
Man, Brax ain't nervous about that.
That
Brax
boy
was with me this
Braxton
week as
nervous.
well. Well, we chilling, man. Big 4-1 on the way, man. Gator Nation, y'all know what time it is. We go 4-1. South Carolina gonna catch these hands. Then we're gonna pull up in Jacksonville with, a lot of, steam on our chest, bro. And we're gonna see what Kirby could do, man. But for right now, it's the roll up, it's the vibes. We'll see y'all on Sunday. Make sure y'all pull up, man. 7 o'clock, hit our DMs with your email address if you want to join the show. If you already joined the show, it's the same link every single time. We out.